So I get a lot of comments when I share some of these items that seem really crazy and really out there and super rare. People are like, that's really cool, but I'm never gonna find that. You guys, the truth is a lot of this stuff is out there, and I've found it before and I've found it again, and that's how I learned about it in the first place. So today we're gonna test that theory. We're gonna go to an antique shop, we're gonna do some flea market shopping, we're gonna see what things pop up again, and I'm gonna show you guys how these things blend in and how you wouldn't even notice them unless you knew to look for them. I showed you guys a Christmas ornament a while back, and this was a star Christmas ornament from a company called Swarovski. They release these Christmas ornaments every single year, and every year they're a little bit different, and they've been doing this since 1991, and they've done it every single year since. The older they get, all the way up until 1991, the more expensive they get. So I found one of these really valuable Christmas ornaments from 1995, and if this was in really good condition, this would have sold for $200 to $300. The problem with this one is the tip was broken off. They were only asking $5 for it, so I bought it anyways, even though it had the tip broken off, because I know that these things will still sell for more than $5, and somebody did end up buying it for $50. The comments that I got on this, you guys, from Facebook were just like, why are you even showing us this it's a broken Christmas ornament. It's broken. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I just wanted to share that these existed in the world so that the next time you happen to be in an antique shop like this one here and you see a bunch of glass things just spread out and there's this Christmas ornament for $6 laying there with a 1992 written on the front, that you know exactly what it is. Because this is a $500 Christmas ornament for $6. It doesn't look like a $500 Christmas ornament, but it is. This is literally the second to oldest Christmas ornament that they have available. Now, if you can find the one from 1991, those can go for over $1,000. I was at an antique shop a while back and I showed you this folding lantern that was made out of brass, and this was from a company called Stonebridge. Now, this particular one was a reproduction, and I made sure to mention that in my video because I didn't want there to be any confusion, but I did talk about the World War I versions of these folding lanterns. And I wanted to mention the history of these because they are so cool. These were used by field medics during World War I. If somebody needed help out on the battlefield at night, you'd have a lantern that you could just put a candle in and you could go out and help a wounded soldier. And then they started being used by like Boy Scouts and different people in the early 1900s. But the one that I showed you guys in a video was a reproduction, and I got some comments on Facebook again. This is a reproduction. Are you aware that this is a reproduction? These are still being made till this very day. I know I said it's a reproduction, but I wanted to mention it so that when you guys are going through an antique shop, you see one of these, that you would know what it was and you would know the history behind these amazing pieces. This one is an original one. This would have been from World War I, from the early 1900s, and you can kind of see that inside is where you put the little candle. It kind of fits between these two little wires, and that's why I wanted to share that with you guys, because these are out there as well, and now if you see them, you know what they are. Now, one of the other things that I've shown you guys before, when I was at another antique shop, I found this incredible fire helmet by Cairns & Bros, and they basically made these insane vintage fire helmets. One of the cool things is they got into this business by creating the clasp that held the badge on the front of these helmets, and then they just started making the helmets, and they have some of the most collectible fire helmets that you're ever gonna find. At this antique shop, they had this one here, and they only wanted $70 for this, and this is a chief fire helmet. If you can find the chief fire helmets, these things can be really valuable. I'm definitely not gonna keep it on for the whole video because that's gonna be a little bit distracting. It was really exciting to actually be able to get one of these because I've shown them to you in the past as nice little teaching moments, and so to actually get one is kind of cool. I have talked about Lalique a few times on my channel before. Anytime you can find Lalique in this opalescent kind of pearl white color, this stuff is incredibly valuable. And a lot of this stuff dates back to pre-1940s. This particular vase, if you look at the bottom, it's gonna be signed Lalique, which isn't that rare. All Lalique pieces are gonna be signed, but what's interesting is this has an R before the Lalique. René Lalique was the designer, and while he was alive, all of his pieces were signed R. Lalique. After he died, they stopped using the R, and you're just gonna see Lalique, Lalique France, so the marks are gonna change dramatically after 1945. That's an easy way to date these pieces, so I was very excited to find this, and I definitely don't mind paying a little bit more for something like this, just because it's so rare. A while back, I took you guys with me to an estate sale where I found a little box with a frog on the top that was Royal Copenhagen, and I showed you guys some screenshots of some of the things that Royal Copenhagen makes that are incredibly valuable. One of the screenshots that I showed you, I specifically showed you this screenshot because it's one of their most valuable teapots. Sometimes I want to show you guys some of the things that you can look for that are similar to the items that I'm showing you guys, so that if you ever see it, you know you can spend a little bit more on it. They had this exact teapot sitting on this shelf. Now, I look at this price on this teapot and they want $495 for it. And they go anywhere from $450 to $700 and you can sell them pretty quickly. But I look a little bit closer and they actually are selling an entire set of Royal Copenhagen china with this teapot for $495, and all of this stuff is 30% off. This is actually a really, really good deal because I could sell just the teapot alone and I get all these plates, all these cups, these trays, everything else that comes along with it for that price. So this is something, even though it seems like a lot of money, I'm probably gonna go ahead and grab. And what's really creepy about it is this here. Like, what? Why? Why is there a man screaming on the front of my teapot? He's not having a good day. But then not only that, there's another one. These people are so unhappy to be on this teapot. There's 5 of these plates that this set comes with, and the 5 plates will sell for probably $200. There's an entire set of these cups that it came with. And I'm thinking I can probably sell all of these cups for $150 to $200. Then it also came with this cream and sugar set. Now this is actually really expensive. What is with these faces on these things? These things are gonna like start dancing around and singing with like the napkins and the candlesticks. The tray with the cream and sugar, because it's so valuable, I'm thinking I can probably get about $380 for that. So for the entire set, I spent $495 less than 30%, and I'm thinking I can probably sell everything for about $1,200. This is actually the second teapot like this that I've seen and that I've actually found. I found another one at a flea market for like $80 a while back. And that's how I learned about them. Now I'm gonna show you guys some things from a flea market. This next thing is a little bit mind-blowing to me because I literally just took you guys on a tour of my house. I showed you guys the dining room, and in the dining room I had this wood carving on the wall from Papua New Guinea that was this vintage Ancestor food hook. And when I did the video, I explained to you guys these things were made so that an ancestor or a loved one that had passed away could live inside this carving, and basically their job is to help preserve your food. So you'd hang your food on it and it would keep it out of reach of mice or rodents, and it would also be the job of the spirit living inside the hook to try to preserve the food for as long as possible. And then look what I found. It's another Ancestor food hook! Like, you guys, what on earth is this? This thing's actually really cool, and this one's really big, and what's really interesting is they use the same shells for the eyes as the one that I had in my house, so that's kind of cool. I love the detailing on this. This is where you would have hung it up. And then down here is where you'd hang your food, and you'd hang like a bag of fruit or vegetables, and then hopefully this little guy would keep it nice and fresh for you. This is actually a lot bigger than the one that I have in my house. The one I have in my house is like, I don't know, maybe 2/3 this size, but I like this one. I like that it's got this lighter color to it, and you can kind of see like where it's had paint that's worn off over the years. This is definitely one of those things that I could see somebody commenting being like, great, that's an awesome food hook, but like, where am I gonna find another food hook like that? And then bam, there it is, another freaking food hook. So I'm gonna share with you guys one of these comments because the next thing I'm gonna share with you is something that she's talking about. This too shall pass says, I found a Dansk pot recently, sold it to a lady, wrote an amazing review. She was so happy, all thanks to one of your videos. I'd never heard of Dansk before that. Again, I watched all your video ads. You are the best. That was actually such a great comment. I love that you found something that you sold and that you made your customer happy with. I think that's absolutely amazing. And so one of the next things I'm gonna share share with you is another Dansk piece. Dansk is actually really cool. They have a lot of really amazing mid-century modern stuff. This is a mid-century modern candle holder, has a really cool design, and it's all made out of iron. Now what's cool about this piece is you're gonna see on the bottom that it actually has the Dansk mark, but then it also has 3 little letters here, which is JHQ. And these actually stand for the designer who is Jens Quensgaard, who worked with Dansk in the 1950s. You can find a lot of different things from Dansk, but some of their more specific period pieces, something like this that would have been made in the 1950s, is gonna be a little bit more valuable. They have really valuable flatware, and some of their dinnerware can be really valuable also. I just really love the aesthetic of this. It's really good quality. It's all iron, so it's super heavy, and I love that it's signed on the bottom with the company name, and then it also has the initials of the designer. These things go anywhere from $80 to $100, and they only wanted $5 for it, so I was excited about that. So I've shown you guys one of these before. This is an Audiovox portable VHS player, so you would take this with you in the car. You could play your VHS for your kids, or on a road trip. It was just a really great way to pass the time, but it came with a charger that you could plug directly into your cigarette lighter, so you could watch as many movies as you wanted. It was actually a really cool idea, and I'm super bummed that when I was watching VHS tapes as a kid that I did not know that these existed. These are still really valuable, and people will still buy these for $100 to $120 if you can find them that work and they're in really good condition. They wanted $5 for this one, which was great. I was super excited about it. These things are out there, you just have to find them, but they're really easy to miss. Every single one of these that I've ever found has been inside this black nylon case, so they definitely can blend in with things pretty easily. This would not be a complete see they do exist out in the wild video without sharing with you guys another incredible toaster find. You guys know I love my toasters. I can't not buy toasters. So this comment totally made my day. This comment's from Vintage Personality, and Vintage Personality writes, I watched your video in the morning before I went to the antique store, and you showed the Sunbeam T20B toaster. I found one that day for $22 and sold it for $200. So for that, I thank you. Everyone who does this job is learning constantly, and I love it. And then immediately under that, Janice Timmons writes, me too. I found one at an estate sale the next day and it sold for $229. I had no idea. This is why I love my YouTube subscribers. You guys are honestly some of the most positive and some of the coolest people. Like, I don't ever get crazy comments on my YouTube channel. Like, why are you showing us this? It's stupid. It's broken. Why? So here at this flea market on the ground, guess what I find? It's a Sunbeam 20-3 AG toaster. They go anywhere from $100 to $150 if you can find them in really amazing condition, maybe in the original box. These things can go for like $500. I'm always super excited to find a great toaster like that. They're just such good quality and they literally last forever. So people really like those things. And I just wanted to show you guys that things do exist in the world. If you've found it once, you're probably gonna find it again at some point in time, maybe in a year, maybe in a week, maybe in a day, you just never know. And then when it pops back up, it's like, oh, yeah, I know what that is. Maybe I'll get that. So I want to hear from you guys. What is something that you found once that you didn't think you'd find again, but then it showed up again at a later date in your life, and you probably wouldn't have even seen it the second time had you not have found it the first time? Leave your comment in the comment section below. I'm super excited to read your guys' responses because I really do think that this happens more often than we think. And it always kind of makes you wonder, like, how many times have you passed those things up before you were aware that they existed? I've actually started a Facebook group. It's a place where people can identify their antiques. You can post pictures of things and other people can jump in and kind of help identify things, helps with value, helps with finding out where things came from. And it's also a cool place to share the things that you guys are finding because I love seeing some of those things. If that's something that you think would be helpful for you, I'm putting the link in the description of the video below. You can go in and join it. It's on Facebook. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, make sure you do it now so you don't miss future episodes. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a wonderful day.